Good afternoon, y'all. In this video, we wanted to go over how to never mess up top coat using polyaspartic coatings. In this video, you're going to see the easy steps for how to actually complete this, and we probably installed a couple 100,000 square feet of full polyaspartic systems here. So the video will probably be pretty good for you. Just starting it off here, a couple things to look out for when you are doing a polyaspartic top coat is if you have the opportunity to, be sure to finish any of the stairs beforehand or any of the walls so that you don't have to deal with them. If they are small enough, it shouldn't be an issue. And as you can kind of see here, we didn't have any walls to deal with. So he was able to take the squeegee right up to it and then use a little mini roller up against the walls as you see over time. But what you want to do is, again, just as the base coat video, try to keep as much of the polyaspartic inside of the bucket as you possibly can. The polyaspartics will kick over due to heat and from moisture content. So if they're in the bucket, they have less surface area to actually interact with the real world, so they will not heat up as quick and not actually end up turning over as fast for you there. Real quick, say welcome to all the new members. We had 3 members before, now we have 17 in 2 days, so welcome everyone. Just want to let you know that I'm just honestly going to be dropping so much game in this free community here with all of our classrooms and all of the courses that are going to be in, that we will be closing this at the end of the May. So if you'd like to join, link down below, join in, and back to the video. So as you can see, he is using the little mini roller there to just roll out some of the additional, because into the corners, you want to make sure that you do not have any of the thickness onto it. It won't really affect the coating too much, but it will give a little bit of a hazy look to it if the coating is too thick and doesn't actually have the opportunity to cure. As you can see, for this one again, we only have one chip brush that was necessary onto this because we were able to use that roller to do a lot of the work since there isn't really any walls to mess with onto this one. As you can see now, they are now making the second batch. When you are mixing into a new batch, you want to make sure that you have a good cut on the floor beforehand, because you do not want both of the products to end up being right at a dry point onto it for the next batch there. So you want to make sure you're applying wet on wet. He's going to start back rolling here as William is just continuing to cut in, and then William's going to switch over here very shortly, and he is going to then start on to continuing the floor for it. Talon's going to do one already across the floor, just as you see there, and then a final back roll perpendicular to how the floor is. Why we do this is because you want to make sure that if somebody is looking straight onto the floor, they may see slight lines onto it from the rollers. Obviously, we try to minimize those as much as possible onto it, but the goal is that as well, it won't be something that is an issue for people that could be possibly seen otherwise. So continue to start onto the front roll just as he is right here. As you can see, over time, the floor, you can't see any of the markings onto it. And I think this was like maybe a 60-degree day, so it wasn't too crazy. But as you can see over time, essentially the product is just going to completely lay out afterwards. We're wanting to do approximately about 1/3 of an overlap from the last roll because you don't want it to have any places that weren't rolled. So this helps out with that quite a bit. And then as well, any of the edges there, if it's anywhere near too thick, we want to make sure that we're rolling those out, ensuring that we have no issues onto that. As that's happening, Will is using a flat notched squeegee this whole entire time. Actually, no notches on it, just a flat squeegee. And then due to the flakes and the profile that the flakes have, it ends up almost being a notch squeegee there. As you can see as well, sometimes you'll have a little bit extra product onto the floor after you do your final pour. As long as it is not too thick, this should be not an issue whatsoever. So what we like to do is just kind of spool it out across the floor. You'll see Talon here in a minute take over and do the final bits there for it. So essentially just very lightly pushing that across before you do your final back roll onto it. Technically this would make the floor a little bit more strong, as the wet film thickness and eventually the dry film thickness is a little bit thicker than the normal floor. And especially at the approach is a great thing for it to have. It's not intentional, but just again, it's always nice to be able to show you guys videos to ensure that you have the best. And as I'm making these videos, I keep thinking that we'll have to keep making more examples and more examples and more examples, and eventually probably a definitive guide onto this, because not every garage is the same, as I'm sure you all know already. But as you can see, he's finishing the final back rolls here, going through it, and I believe he sees one spot here that he wanted to work out. So what we do is we go back from where that is. You'll see here shortly, where he starts to roll it again, as he saw an area that looked like it was a little bit not rolled out. So as you can see there, roll it out again, just so that we don't have any roller marks onto the floor, and then just keep going through again. Drag it very slowly so that you don't really rip the product up with you at that same time. Even though we're in super speed here, we're just going to go very slowly across the whole entire floor until you work out the areas that you have, then go back. And what you're looking for is the glare of the floor to ensure that there is no roller marks onto that. And we are just about finished here. Again, I'll probably have to make a lot more videos of these, but I hope you all enjoyed it and hope you'll get some value out of it. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them down below, as well as like and comment the video, as well as subscribe. And finally, join the free school community so you can see the whole amalgamation of all these videos here for yourself. Hope you have a great day.